Okay, this is the Nebraska instrument. It is a little bit thinner, really nice for tight contacts, firm tissue. And your insertion point for the Nebraska is going to be the midline. This instrument has different working ends on each side, so you can use the same working end anywhere. You don't need to find the correct working end, which is really nice. So you're going to insert at the midline. You're using the modified pen grasp, and you're going to use directional pressure and strokes towards the tooth, towards the tip of the instrument. Short biting strokes. As you move around the tooth, you're going to adapt, stay adapted on the tip third of your instrument. When I get to the line angle, I like to move my fulcrum closer and turn my instrument as I come around that line angle. So now you can see that all I can see is the back of the instrument. If I'm seeing the lateral side, I'm not adapted. So if I'm here, I'm not adapted interproximally. I need to come all the way around, directional pressure towards the tooth, towards the tip of the instrument, and you should hear that biting noise as you're performing a calculus removal stroke. You will notice that my fingers are blanching a little bit. You need a little more pressure with this type of stroke and movement. So different than an assessment type instrument. You also need to use wrist motion activation. So you see a lot of rocking on the fulcrum finger. Then again, when I come to the line angle, I like to stop, move my fulcrum closer, turn my instrument, and then my direction of my pressure changes. So here I was rotating towards the tooth. You can see my handle coming down. When I come here, you can see my handle's coming more sideways because my directional pressure is shifting, changing. And then it's that pivot on your fulcrum finger. You really need all of your fingers to be touching in the grasp in order to achieve wrist motion activation. And you do that by being really only one tooth away in the anterior region. If I move my fulcrum over 2 teeth away and then I try to instrument, you can see I have to split my grasp. Once I split my grasp, I only have digital motion as an option. So I've got to keep a really close fulcrum, keep all of my fingers together, and then I can achieve that pressure with wrist motion. Okay, this time I want you to watch the heel of the instrument because it needs to be away from the tooth surface. So if I've got the heel close here, the tip's going to be off, and that goes for every surface that you're working on. So you're starting at the midline, your heel is away, your tip is on, and you're pulling directional pressure towards the tooth. Then again, you're moving around the tooth, come to the line angle, remove that calculus at the line angle, then stop, move your fulcrum finger a little bit closer, turn the instrument, and advance around the line angle. Your directional pressure shifts. Again, I want you to look at the heel of the instrument. It's away from the tooth. If I come close here, you can see I've lost my pressure and my tip's not on. So I want to come this way, 70 to 80 degree angulation, and then directional pressure towards the tooth. Then I want to finish my stroke up through to the incisal edge. So I'm going to bring this stroke all the way through. Otherwise, you're going to get calculus that stays lodged right underneath the contact. So you come to the contact and then finish the stroke up. Wrist motion activation, 70 to 80 degrees, tip third on the tooth, and watching that heel off. Use this instrument with a horizontal stroke and should at your insertion point, which is the midline. So just a short horizontal stroke at the midline. You do need to bring the back of the instrument away from the tooth a little bit. So if you're close here, that tip's still going to be off and you have the middle third adapted. So you want to bring the heel of the instrument away from the tooth as you're performing that stroke so that your tip is on the tooth and you're getting the calculus removal stroke.